Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Elon Wurtzel from the Planview-Old Bethpage Chamber of Commerce. And we have here today Greg Massimi from TLC. Greg is a platinum sponsor for Springfest 22, and we're happy to have you here today, Greg.
Thank you.
We're going to talk a little bit about your company, about your business, what makes you guys tick. And so this way our members can get to know you a little bit. So Greg, why don't you start off and tell me about yourself, about your company and what you guys do?
Well, my wife and I started the business about 7 years ago. Almost in a month, it'll be 7 years. She's from Massimi, well, I am from New Jersey. We were in the garment center most of my life. I was in the garment center. And when that industry went to apparently offshore, I kicked around a little bit, went into the restaurant business for a little while, had a few restaurants up in Westchester, and that was good, but it just was hard to make a buck and wasn't really what I wanted to do. It's too much fun and games and not enough earning money. My wife was working for a company for about 6 months, 8 months, and the company that she worked for was lackadaisical. They really didn't care. They had no motivation, no drive. And we decided if they could make a living doing this, that we could more than likely do quite well. So we started TLC, and we started just like everybody else with one case. It was 4 hours a day, 2 or 3 days a week. And one case led to another and another. And we grew the business and we continue to grow it. And we actually have the same aide. We started with the same 2 aides on that case are still with us today. So we pride ourselves on keeping the same people as long as they're, worthy of being employees. We keep them in place so that we know who we're dealing with. When we send somebody into your home, we're confident that it's going to go well.
Greg, what is TLC? What do you guys actually do? What's the service you provide?
We provide non-medical home health care to seniors, anybody in need. It doesn't have to be seniors. We've had younger people that we've taken care of and we continue to take care of, whether it's in a facility, in their home. We've taken them on vacation. If they wanted to go on a trip, we escorted them on the trip. And we're medical in New Jersey, but we're non-medical in New York.
What would you say are the qualities or the traits that make you and your company successful in what it does today?
Well, we certainly have employees. Without them, we'd have no business. But my wife and I, when they say 24/7, we're truly 24/7, which has been my background in the garment center and textiles. I had a factory that was open. It ran 24/7. When I was in the restaurant business, it was a long, long day and week. So I come from the background that I have no problem with 24/7. And my wife was also in the garment center and the dress business, which, is pretty tough business to deal with a lot of buyers and consumers, which we know could be difficult. And so we both had that mindset that we had to be the best of what we did. And we still have that today. We still look to be the best company, the most caring company. If you have a problem and you need to call me at 1 a.m, somebody will answer the phone. It's no answering service. And that's been since the start. We've never used an answering system.
I see behind you, you have a logo or a TLC. What does that stand for?
Well, tender loving care, tender loving companions,
What do you find are some of the challenges for your industry today?
Well, that you always have the rogue aide that goes in and wants to run their own game and their own show. So labor, of course, is a problem. Finding the right people, it becomes very costly to the clients. So we're trying to, be cognizant of that fact that it's very expensive to have long, full-term 2 12-hour shifts or 1 10-hour shift. It's very expensive. And we try to give the money's worth the best that we can, So people don't feel like they're just paying for, basics. We want it to be more than that.
Okay.
We also find we have some competitors who don't play by the same rules, and that makes it difficult, but it all comes out in the wash, and eventually they go by the wayside, or they fall back behind us because they're just in it for the buck, and that's what it's all about.
Now, I know that your offices are in Bethpage, and you service, Long Island community. How did you decide to, pick this area, Bethpage, Planview-Old Bethpage, as the center of your operations?
But we looked in a lot of different areas. The one thing that we had to be was near a train station, so our aides could come in and see us back then when they came in for interviews, or they came for checks, or they came for whatever they needed to come for. So we looked in a few different areas, and my wife said, let's go to Bethpage. So I have to give her the credit for that. It was definitely her that brought us to
Greg,
Bethpage.
don't you give your wife credit for everything?
As often as possible. Yes, I do. So we ended up in Bethpage, and it's a great little community. We found a great space here because the town was really struggling. And there's still some empty spots here, as a matter of fact, but it just became our home here, and we're happy. And it's maybe a 12 to 15-minute commute. So it worked out well.
Do you find the need for your services that it's been growing, in the past 7 years because of an aging population on Long Island?
Absolutely, a growing need, and it's a huge need now. People are going into rehabs that, they're not. I don't want to, speak out of tune, but the rehabs now have been turned over and turned over and turned over, and there's no help in them anymore. The labor has been cut out. So when they go into a facility, and by the way, we do many cases in facilities where we go in and do backup because there's just not enough help, and people are left alone for hours on end. So that's been a great need that we filled.
Where do you see your industry in the next 10 years? What's your prediction for the future?
It's hard to predict, especially being in New York, because it's a crazy political scene here, and you don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know. I don't know. We're fortunate people in this area can afford to have care. If not, they have insurance policies that pay for the care. We're pretty much private pay and long-term insurance. We don't accept any Medicaid, Medicare. So, people come to us until they spend down, and they go, and then we place them with a competent agency. We have a couple of people that we work with, then we try to get them into a good situation when they leave us, if they do have to leave us.
All right. In March 2020, we were all confronted with the COVID pandemic emergency. How did your business adapt to, that emergency? And is there anything that you've done as part of your adaptations that you're going to continue to implement going forward in the future?
When the pandemic first started, the first thing I did is I went out and I bought about 20,000 KN95 masks. I bought as much sanitizer as I could get my hands on, and I bought nitrile gloves. So at least I gave my aides a chance to stay healthy and safe, and not to touch anything. At the time, we thought there was a touch related that it was spreading, so we weren't sure. So we made sure they had the best equipment possible, and we do that to this day. Now we've secured quite a few rapid test kits, so we make sure the aides, if they have to go back on a case or into a new case, that we test them all the time. They self-test, and they show us the results, and we send them, and that's been a big help to us. I spare no expense when it comes to that, and that's the way we've always rolled, basically, and we're not going to change that.
Your clients and customers must really appreciate, your thoughtfulness and dedication to their safety and care.
I believe they do. And a lot have recommended us to friends and other family members in need. We've gotten a lot of very nice reviews, and we're happy to be able to help people. It's a nice thing to do.
Do you find, I don't know if you have children who are interested in following your footsteps, but is the kind of service and business that you have, is that something that, young people might be interested in as a career path?
You know, it's a good question. I have three older children and one 14-year-old. I'm not sure that that's what they want to going forward, Like when I was in the garment center in the textile industry, I had a factory and they really, they came in, it was fun and games, but it's not something they wanted to do. And I don't think this is either. I don't know who's going to come up behind us. I really don't.
Okay, got it. How has the Chamber of Commerce helped you in your business and, perhaps meeting other professionals or clients and things of that nature?
Well, the Chamber of Commerce was one of the places I met. I actually met Lauren Wilds in the Massapequa Chamber, and we connected, and she did my website, she did SEO, and she was a tremendous help in getting us started and getting us on the map. We also met Larry Weiss at the Chamber and did our phone system, which has been another tremendous help to us. So we've met people that have helped us in the Chamber, and we've made some friends as well. And it's nice. I never really belonged to a chamber before I got into this business. It wasn't, textile business, it wasn't something that we would do. But this is more networking, and it's been good. We're very happy with the Planview Chamber. It's a well-run, very respectful, professional chamber, and I really am happy to be a part of it.
It's interesting you identified two services that we all need in today's modern age, internet, computer resources, and telephone services. So, it's great that you were able to connect with professionals that were able to help you through the chamber.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to ask you something. We're going to go off technology, and I'm going to throw you a curveball. You're on a desert island. You're by yourself. You can have one book, one food, and one activity. What are you going to have?
Wow. One book, one food, and one activity. I would say that I probably want the Bible, and then I would want one food. I would probably want steak, and one activity. We'll just leave that to your imagination.
Let me ask you this. Are you bringing your wife with you on that desert island?
I would assume that she's with me. If not, hopefully there's a local that I can connect with. But
what's your wife's name, by the way?
Her name is Robin.
Okay. How do you find working with your wife as a team? Are there any special challenges that you as a business owner have, working with your spouse?
I think that's been part of our great success, is that we do connect, we think alike, but we're completely different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been a great partner, and I think I've been a great partner to her, and it's really worked well for us. And that's a big plus. People like, how did you work with your wife? I'm like, we've worked together in the textiles, we worked together in the restaurant, we've worked together in this, and we just get along and it works,
All right. Good teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yeah.
So, Greg, you indicated that you work 24/7, putting in a lot of hours. Are you able to take any time off for yourself and travel or do other things that you like?
We haven't traveled that often, as much as we should. We go down, her aunt and uncle are in Florida. My mom is in Florida. So we actually gravitate towards there to see them because we want to see them. Her parents live locally in Massapequa. So her dad just passed away not that long ago. So the answer is no, we have not traveled as much as we'd like to, but we plan on it,
All right. What's on your bucket list as an exotic place you might want to travel to?
Iceland.
All right. Are you going in wintertime or summertime?
I think I'd like to see the Northern Lights. So whenever they're there, that's when we're going to go.
All right. What's one thing that people don't know about you?
I don't know. I have a very soft side in me, and most people don't see that part of me because they, it's normally my wife that gets that. She's the one that's very kind and gentle. Um, and I love boating now. I love it more than ever. I was a boater, an avid boater in my early 20s, through my early 30s, and that's when I was up in Newburgh on the Hudson River, and it was easy boating. I'm on the South Shore now. It's a little bit tougher.
No rivers necessarily on the South Shore. We got ocean, Atlantic Ocean, right?
Yeah.
Greg, we have a few minutes left. What are you most proud of in terms of your work, family? What would you like to tell us?
I'm just proud that we've, found a way to succeed in a very competitive market, and we try to think outside the box, and we try to expand our horizons. And we didn't buy a franchise because I don't really believe in that. I believe in growing it ourselves, and we've done well, and we've spread into New Jersey. We briefly went into Florida, and we weren't happy with the product that we had down there, so we shut it down quickly. But New Jersey's it's great success, and it's actually in Ridgewood, New Jersey, Bergen County, which is where I'm from. I'm from Bergen County, New Jersey. And we have a partner who's a great friend, Howard Gurak, who runs the New Jersey office. And it's worked well. He works with his wife as well, Sue Gurak.
All right. Well, Greg, thank you so much. The Chamber appreciates your platinum sponsorship and the time that you've taken today to talk to me, and for us to get to know you a little bit better. And we're looking forward to seeing you at Springfest on May 22nd.
Good.
You have a great day.
I also didn't mention that I've been granted to take over the charity Rock Our Vets. It's an organization that gives back to the veterans, whether they give them laptops or we give them blessing bags or we pay for some housing. And it was started by Dave Mason and Ted Knapp, and we've taken it over, and we're just starting now to disperse some monies, and we have a nice stream of donations which we plan on growing, and we're very proud of Rock Our Vets.
All right, beautiful, Greg. Really appreciate your time, and I'm sure that charity will be as successful as TLC has been. Have a great day.
Thank you.